for being here tonight to provide input on whether or not the names of Lee Highway, US Route 29, and Lee Jackson Memorial Highway, US Route 50 in Fairfax County should be changed. My name is Evelyn Spain, and I am the chair of the Fairfax County Confederate Names Task Force. And I am joined tonight by Fairfax County Department of Transportation Director Tom Bashadny. There are also other members of the Confederate Names Task Force here to listen to your input. We appreciate your taking the time to be here this evening. Now, for some background on the Confederate Names Task Force, in July of 2021, the Fairfax County Board of Supervisors established the task force to review the names of Lee Highway and Lee Jackson Memorial Highway and to make recommendations to the board on whether to change the names of one or both roadways, and if such a recommendation is made, provide recommendations on proposed alternative names. Both highways were named or renamed, both highways were named or renamed for Confederate generals between 1919 and 1922. Some community members' concerns about the appropriateness of these names prompted the Board of Supervisors to establish the Confederate Names Task Force to review the issue. The work of the task force will be concluded by the end of 2021. Final decisions on the roadway names will be made by the board. For more information about the task force, the highway or the history of the highways, and the various ways to provide feedback, including an online survey, can be found online at www.fairfaxcounty.gov/transportation. Now, before I go over some ground rules, I want to note that this meeting will end at 8:30, as we want to hear from as many people as possible. And with that in mind, we're setting a time limit of 2 minutes per person. If everyone attending this evening has spoken before 8:30 p.m., we may end the meeting early. We will call on each attendee by name or the last 4 digits of your phone number if you're calling into the meeting. We will then unmute you so we can hear you speak. We will be sharing a countdown timer for your convenience on the screen here. Please stick to your time limit so that we can hear from as many people as possible. What we would like to hear this evening is your input on whether to change the name of one or both roadways. Since this meeting is intended to receive feedback on this topic, we will not be providing responses to questions or comments. Summary of each speaker's comments will be provided to the task force for their consideration. So before we begin, I would like to draw your attention to some of the ground rules that are on the screen. As I mentioned earlier, each person speaking tonight has 2 minutes to provide input. Please be mindful of everyone's time. And when you begin speaking, please state your name and where in the county you reside or work. And to make sure we accomplish the objective of being able to have a productive space for you to share your perspectives, please use respectful language and refrain from personal attacks. Please do not use the chat or the Q&A as those functions to post comments. So please do not use the chat or Q&A to post comments. What we would like to hear this evening is your input on whether to change the name of one or both highways, and if yes, what the alternative names you may want to recommend. I will now I will have Robin call on the first person to speak. Thank you.
And Chair Spain, this is Tom. While Robin is preparing for that, I just want to remind everyone that this meeting is being recorded, and following the meeting, the recording will be posted on the Confederate Names Task Force website for
Thank
everybody
you.
to review in the future.
Thank you, Tom.
Okay, thank you both. What we're going to do is go down the list of our attendee list, and I'm just going to go in order as it appears on my screen. So our first speaker is Andrew Vita, and I'm going to unmute if I can here. Let's see. Andrew, can you hear me?
Yes, do you hear me?
Yes, I can. Thank you. So you can, your 2 minutes are going to start right now.
All right. I don't want to take up much time. I actually work in the city of Fairfax as a member of the staff who is looking at the renaming of these streets through our community. And I was just dialed in here so that I could be aware of what was going on in the county as we address this in the city. So I have no input, and I will concede my minute and 43 seconds to someone else. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, I'm going to go now to a call-in user, and the call-in, the last digits of the phone number are okay, it's a 301 area code 458 are the first 3 digits of the phone number. So I'm going to unmute the caller. Caller, can you hear me? And so the number is 301 458, and you're unmuted.
Oh, hi. I just joined the call to find out what the public interest on this. I'm in favor of changing the name for sure. I'm just trying to find out, how the public reacts to it, and to make an decision later on. Thank you.
Okay, thank you, sir. Okay, and our next caller is, the next person in our list is Colin Smith. Colin, can you hear me? I've unmuted your mic.
Yes, I can. Can you hear me?
Yes, thank you.
Okay. Yes, my name is Colin Smith. I've lived in Fairfax my entire life. Currently live and work in Fairfax. Over the last 18 months, I've seen dozens of small businesses close, more than I've ever seen in the 3 decades that I've lived here. I believe whatever money is being discussed or potentially earmarked for changing street signs should be spent in more appropriate arenas. Examples are small business, low interest loans trying to help these restaurants that are hurting from COVID, school renovations, or public parks. I know Arlington County just spent over $300,000, and based on the mileage of road we have, it's going to be significantly more for Fairfax County. I also work in construction, and I know that any estimates that have been received are going to be low, without a doubt. Thank you for your time.
Thank you. Okay, our next person on our attendee list is David Collier. So David, I'm going to unmute your mic. Okay, David, you're unmuted.
Hi, thank you. So I'm a relatively new resident to Fairfax. We moved here a year ago. I've noticed the references to the Confederacy, perhaps more so being new and having to learn the area. I'm very much in favor of changing them. I understand there's a cost associated with it, but I would consider this a wrong that has been in place for a long time and is worthy of the investment. As far as the renaming would go, I would propose to put this to the school system. I've seen some contests for naming things in other cities that can make it quite fun and make it a learning moment for the students. I understand some of the schools have gone through a similar renaming process, so I would think it would be, in line with things that they've already looked at. As far as I'm concerned, I've heard or read arguments that there's a historical perspective here and to leave it, And while I'm certain there are people out there that want to cement that history, I think there's sometimes you need to turn the page and move on. It's clear that it's offensive to many. So I think it's a very worthwhile investment to pursue. And I'll yield back my time. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Okay, our next attendee that is on our list is Elizabeth Flanagan.
Hello.
Hey.
Yeah, I wanted to quote from someone from Serbia who wrote this, and he said, "I suggest we have freedom to live on streets whose names we choose and not to have them change on the whim of a new political movement. New street names require individuals to change credit card information, shipping addresses, as well as entire personal documents. This is both costly and time-consuming. Street names may seem minuscule at first. However, they are a very powerful political weapon as they can be used to rewrite history. Communist countries, as well as other regimes, use street names and monuments, as well as other things, to further their political goals. When communists took over in 1945, the followers of Marx and Lenin decided to rewrite history. Every major street in every city throughout the country was renamed after a communist revolutionary. Previously, all of these streets bore names of the Yugoslav royal family, and before that, the names of the Habsburg monarchy or the Ottoman sultans, depending on the part of the country. The communists believed there was no one worthy before they came into power, only capitalist exploiters and political despots who did not deserve their own streets. In a 2009 documentary in English, it's called Disappearance of Heroes, it explained the changes of street names throughout Belgrade and how they coincided with shifts in political opinion. The film shows a committee of roughly 20 people holding a meeting in which they are deliberating what a street ought to be called. One may think that reinventing the wheel is not necessary to find a suitable hero who has not been honored with a street. However, this apparently simple task has been made complicated by government bureaucrats, as is usually the case. And then I wanted to quote from 1984 by George Orwell, quote, "Every record has been destroyed or falsified, every book rewritten, every picture repainted, statue and street building has been renamed, every date has been altered, and the process is continuing day by day, minute by minute. History has stopped. Nothing exists except an endless present in which the party is always right." And then finally, from a book called Wild Swans, Three Daughters of China by Zheng Chang, a book which was praised by Hillary Clinton. If you look on page 292, you'll see the details of the changing of street names during the Maoist Cultural Revolution, only to have the names changed back after Mao's death. I believe the desire for name change is a minority one. In my neighborhood, Stonewall Manor in Vienna, there is no grassroots desire. The desire, in my opinion, is being brought forward by a few activists.
Excuse me, Ms. Flanagan, your 2 minutes are up. So thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you.
That was it.
Thank
Great.
you. All right.
Okay, the next person on our list is Jeffrey Heron.
Yeah, hi. I'm a resident here out of in Fairfax County here. I've just kind of tuned in to see what everyone, what the consensus was going forward. I do want to say I echo the sentiment that we don't need to spend our hard-earned tax money to change street names, and echo the reasons already previously mentioned. I'm pretty sure the ones that are coming forward. So with that in regard, I am against changing the street names for that fact, and I yield back my time.
Okay, thank you. All right. The next person on our list is Luella Benedetto. Miss Benedetto?
Hi, can you hear me?
Yes, I can hear you. Thank you.
Yes, I just wanted to hear what other citizens had to think. I lean towards changing the names myself because I think even though there is an expense involved, that it's making a statement that needs to be made about what we value in this country. And I don't think that in my estimation that we should be naming things after wars and participants, generals, and so forth at all, really, on either side. That's basically all I have to say. Thank you.
Thank you. Okay, now I'm going to go back to a call-in attendee, and the person's number is, let's see here. Sorry, sometimes the names, phone numbers. If you're calling in on the phone, I'm going to unmute you. I'm having a hard time seeing your phone number. Oh, here it is, 916-616. So I'm going to unmute. The phone. Hello, can you hear me? Hello, can you hear me, caller? Okay, I'm going to go ahead and come back to this person. Okay, let me keep going here. We've got, okay, so Mr. Rick Lowe wrote in the chat because he doesn't have a microphone available. He's attending, but he did want to leave a message in the chat, which we will take under consideration. The next person on our list is initials TFM. Can you hear me?
I'm sorry, I'm just a listener. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. Thank you. Right, let's see, going back up. I think that concludes our list of attendees who could speak at this time. So we don't have anyone else to speak right now.
Robin, maybe we can try caller number 4 again.
Okay. Okay, so caller, your phone number is area code 916-616, and I'm going to mute you. Can you hear me?
Medical.
Hello, caller, can you hear me?
I'll start an outline and I'll have a draft for you guys before that gets back from probably 15 minutes.
Okay. I think they might not know they're on.
Hello, Robin, you think we can give it a few more minutes? We've exhausted. There seems to be a comment that keeps coming in on the chat from Mr. Lowe's, but can we just stay on maybe another minute or two to see if anyone else joins?
Sure, I'll keep looking to
Yes,
see who's
absolutely, Chair Spain. We'll sit tight for a few minutes and see if others will join us.
Okay, thank you.
Robin, I think Dee Carter has joined us.
Thank you. Okay, Ms. Carter, we're going to call on you now, and I'm going to unmute your microphone. Can you hear me?
Yes. And the reason why I'm attending, I'm glad we're coming to this point where we're not honoring folks that have been part of the lost cause, and that Fairfax County states that they're one Fairfax. I really like that slogan, and it sounds very inclusive. So changing these names is pertinent to becoming a one Fairfax. And do I have any names? Not off the top of my head.
Okay, thank you.
You're welcome. If I do have some names that come up as we continue this meeting, I will let you know.
And we do have an online survey that's going to go through November 12th.
Okay.
And it's on the, if you go to fairfaxcounty.gov/transportation, get to the survey off the main page there.
Oh, okay.
Thanks.
So, Tom, there it's about 7:23. You want to give it a couple more minutes till 7:25, or would you like to go to 7:30? Oh, it's 7:24.
Let's wait till 7:30 at
Okay,
least
perfect,
and see if
perfect.
anybody else joins us. And before we end, we'll try caller number 4 again and see if they're uh, if they're interested in saying anything.
Perfect.
Thank you.
Mhm.
I'll go ahead and give caller number 4 one more time here. Okay, so one of our callers, 916 is the area code. I'm going to unmute your microphone, and hopefully you are here and you can make some comments. Can you hear me?
Hi, this is Sally Kadalev. I'm sorry, I couldn't get it on my work phone. I've been trying to bounce back and forth between devices.
That's
so
okay.
I didn't hear you earlier.
That's okay.
So I was just here to hear what comments are said from Walkinshaw's office.
Okay, great. Thank you.
And Robin, it looks like Nicole Miller has joined us.
Okay. Nicole, I'm going to unmute your mic and we're ready to hear your comments. Can you hear me?
I can hear you.
Thanks.
The only thing that I have is that not to spend, I just would wish that you guys would not spend a lot of money on the name change. But if that's, I think the biggest concern in my area is just the expenditures on the name changes. But if the name needs to get changed, maybe something that honors veterans or any specific veteran that was good, popular in this area at some time in our history, or just call them route, whatever they are. That's pretty much all that I have. It's just either if we could do something in this county to honor our veterans, that would be a great option. Other than that, that's all I got. I appreciate it.
Okay, thank you very much. I don't see any additional people at this point, but if we could, Chair Spain, if you could reiterate how people can participate in the online survey, that would be great, because I think we had some comments in the chat that people were not able to get to that information.
Certainly, most definitely. And I'd like to also mention that today in my mailbox, I received the postcard that lists the various ways that one can participate. So if you haven't, oops, it's going to come out backwards on the screen, but there's a wonderful postcard that's been sent out to all of the homes in the residents of Fairfax County. And it talks about the various ways that you can participate in the survey. So you can take the online survey at www.fairfaxcounty.gov/transportation. One should be able to fill out a paper survey at the Fairfax County Library. You can email comments to DOT, Confederate Names Task Force. I think it's right there on the screen where you can submit comments via email. You can call 703-877-5600, or you can even mail your comments in to Fairfax County Department of Transportation, 4050 Legato Road, Suite 400, Fairfax, Virginia. 22033. One thing that we had mentioned at the earliest part of our session today was we asked that you please do not use the chat or the QA function to post comments. If you are unable to make a comment via a microphone or a call-in, you're welcome to call in. You can also submit your comments you can mail it, or like I said, to the Fairfax County Department of Transportation, or you can submit your comments via email at the DOT Confederate Names Task Force at fairfaxcounty.gov. Most importantly, we love for everyone to fill out as much as possible the online survey at www.fairfaxcounty.gov/transportation/Confederate Names Task Force. Thank you, Robin. And with that, it's just about 7:31. Robin or Tom, have we received any other folks who might have joined?
I don't see any, Tom.
I'm going to check real quick here, but I don't see any. No, I don't see any additional participants, Chair Spain.
Thank you. Well, thank you to everyone who came out tonight to provide their input into this important process. Believe me, we have heard you. We appreciate your providing your opinion, your thoughts, suggestions for possible names. And if you, your family, or your friends would like to provide more feedback, again, let me reiterate, you can do that in several ways through November 12th, 2021. If you would turn your attention to the screen, you can take the online survey at www.fairfaxcounty.gov/transportation/names-task-force. You can fill out a survey at the Fairfax County Library. I did notice that someone mentioned there were no surveys at Chantilly. Thank you for that information. We'll make sure that we make them available at the Chantilly Library. You can you can email your comments to DOT Confederate Names Task Force at fairfaxcounty.gov. And finally, you can mail your comments to Fairfax County Department of Transportation at 4050 Legato Road, Suite 400, Fairfax, Virginia, 22033. And if I didn't mention before, you feel free to call Fairfax County Department of Transportation at 703-877-5600, TTY 11. Thank you again for your participation and your comments tonight. And with that, I believe we will close our listening session for this Monday, November 1st, 2021. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you, everyone. Appreciate your participation.